my Arabic wasn't at the level whereby I could communicate easily. So when I got accepted to Medina, I found it very difficult, as you can imagine. You go in there, you know the Arabic alphabet, you can read, but you have absolutely no listening skills, all right? And you're being taught all in Arabic. It is probably, single-handedly one of the most frustrating experiences ever to have to sit in a class for a couple of hours and the teacher's talking and you don't know if you're understanding what they're saying or not. So from that frustration, that's how Maysoor was born, if you like. Maysoor was primarily, or is primarily, a an online institute, and obviously we've got some cases where we've branched out to teaching physically now, but it's been set up to teach non-native speakers the Arabic language in a nutshell. And one of the things that I really want, my students and anybody that's on, that's connected to my outreach, and even your listeners now, to know, is that beautiful things, wonderful things can be created from either trauma, it can be created from severe frustration. Just because you're going through a traumatic experience or a devastating time in your life, or a testing time, or you're struggling to do something, we have to learn just to trust the process, trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, take the necessary means, but also believe in your heart that this doesn't have to be bad. Something beautiful can come out of this. And off the back of me struggling and feeling frustrated in class for, I don't know how long it was, maybe like a year or so, I said to myself, you know what? I want to teach. I don't want people to go through what I'm going through right now. You with me? I want people to go through this. I'm going to try to share this, with the world, i.e. the ummah, in a way that's digestible, in a way that's easy to understand, in a way that's comprehensible, in a way that's not going to make people run away from the language. Because the reality is, nobody's stupid. It's just that some of us learn quicker than others. You could teach a lion, to open its mouth, put your head in it and not bite your head off. You can train an animal to do that. So I'm surely you can train a human to learn how to understand, speak, read, write Arabic. Does that make sense? So that's when Maysoor was born. And I initially started, funny enough, Akhi, on Facebook. I remember Facebook was out, maybe like about 3-4 years old. I set up an account called At-Tullab al-Medina, which grammatically I didn't know at the time was wrong. We don't say At-Tullab al-Medina, you would say Tullab al-Medina. Anyway, we set up this account, or I did anyway, Facebook account, and then I would start sharing benefits. Around that time, Akhi, remember I was in my first level in Medina, so 2009, 2010 times. I came across Khan Academy, and probably everybody knows what Khan Academy is, an online site that teaches everything that you need to know for like secular studies mainly, and even stuff outside of the traditional secular topics that we study in school. And I was blown away. I was like, this is fantastic. Like, you're at home and you can get a decent or a very, very good education by just being at home. It just blew my mind. So I remember saying to a brother at the time, Akhi, how does he do what he's doing? Meaning, how is it that I'm watching him right on his screen? That blew my mind at the time. It literally blew my mind. Because I'm like, in my head I'm thinking, I can just pretend that's so bored and teach Arabic. So he said, you need a tablet. And I'm like, well, what's a tablet? Try a Wacom tablet. Went online, found a Wacom tablet. Remember, these times I'm in Medina. So I found a Wacom tablet, but we don't have no Amazon or eBay just to deliver something to Medina. So I literally had to get somebody in the UK to get the tablet and send it over to the Saudi. And you can imagine the time delays. I have to get the product, wait for somebody to come, and then meet that person. But when you got it in your possession, Akhi, it's like a bar of gold. It's like, yes. And at the time I had an old Toshiba laptop. I put my family through some stress, man, because when I was recording, we had a little place in Medina at the time. I think I had about 2 children at the time. And that's another story that we can go into, the heart-wrenching decision we made to leave one of our kids back in the UK. I don't know, maybe...
Allahu Akbar.
Yeah, maybe that might be a conversation for another day, or maybe it might organically just fit into what we're speaking about. But needless to say, I was using an old Toshiba laptop, and I would say to my wife, guys, stay in the back, I'm going to record. I would hear a door slam, or... I'm like, be quiet. My wife would be like, how much longer are you going to be? You're taking ages. I'd be like, 5 minutes, 5 minutes. 3 hours later, I'm coming, trying to sneak in the bed, you know. I have memories of that. When I think of Maysoor, that's how it started to me. The majority of people, you know, even yourself, for example, you said that the first time you came across Maysoor was me in a classroom just being all interactive. For my wife... she has a completely different perception, you know. She sees the growth. She sees the days where I said I'm going to be 5 minutes and I'm coming back in the bedroom 3 hours later, or you know, be quiet because I need to do. I'm recording. She's gone through all of that frustration. So one of the challenges I found at that stage, Akhi, was that whilst I was giving the lessons, they were good. They were getting really fantastic views online. I had this like traditional green board. I would write on the tablet that I had, and then it would appear on screen. But the computer didn't have the ability to handle the graphics, or the end result that I was trying to achieve. You with me? So I was like, well, what's the solution? Do I stop and say, "Khalas, it's not working out. I don't have the correct the tools that I need"? I said, no, I need to get another computer. I need to get a computer. So that was, I think, that was the first time, Akhi, I delved into the world of Apple. And ever since, Akhi, they've got me by the choke. I am Apple.
Yeah, same here, bro.
Akhi, Apple through and through.
Choice.
You know, I betrayed them a little bit. I went Samsung for a little while, and I said, nah, I went back to Apple. You know, so I've got my
because once you're in the family of Apple, everything's integrated. They lock you in because your phone starts talking to your laptop talks to your iPad, your iPad talks to your headphones. Like, it's just too much.
The thing is, I love it from a business perspective. I love it. I mean, the product is fantastic. The quality is, you know, second to none in my opinion. But I like the mindset. It's a bit treacherous to a degree. It's like, khalas, like, let me go now, but I can't. I'm stuck with you for life. But I like the fact that it does, in a weird way, I suppose, create customer loyalty. And that's what I would love for the children of Little Maysoor, the parents of Little Maysoor, and the children of Little Maysoor, and also those students that are connected to Maysoor. I also want them to have that connection. You know, it's not just a company where we're making money. You know, it's not about that. It's never been about that. Is it important? Yeah, it is important. Because we are all human beings and we all have to survive. Right, we all want to, inshallah ta'ala anyway, leave a legacy. But what's important is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has allowed me to be in a situation where I can give back. And walillah alhamdu wa shukr, I have the ability to teach. You know, as a matter of fact, as it came, before Maysoor became Maysoor as we know it today, Akhi, Maysoor Arabic or Little Maysoor Academy, I remember I was going through names. I came up with names like Ashabul Khair. Ashabul Khair means the companions of goodness. You could just see where my mind was at the time. And then my wife was like, nah, like, that's too heavy. It's too wordy. And you got to think about who you're trying to reach out to. I'm trying to reach out to people that don't speak Arabic, right? How are they gonna pronounce words like the letter like you know? They're gonna start saying Ashabul Khair, or something like that. And I always think about my mum, you know, how would she pronounce something? So I said, no, scratch that. I need a name that's going to be easy on the tongue, right? And anyone can pronounce it, whether you're an Arab or whether you're a non-Arab. And I kid you not, Akhi, as Allah is my witness, I took this dictionary. I would walk to the masjid with this dictionary and I would just flick. I'll just be flicking, and I'll say, I don't like, that's not. I wasn't actually going for meaning at first. I was going for what sounds good. And then, if I'm not mistaken, the chapter meme, when you're looking at words that begin with meme, for some reason, it's the biggest chapter in the dictionary, in this particular dictionary. I don't know why it is. I don't know if that's a thing out there or it's something that I've just observed. But every time I get to meme, it's like it just doesn't end. And I flicked on the word Maysoor. And I was like, Maysoor, that's kind of easy. I think everybody can say that. There's nothing difficult in terms of the pronunciation of the letters that we don't have in the English language. And then when I looked at the meaning, I was like, khalas, that's a wrap. Because the word Maysoor means to make things easy, accessible, to make things feasible. And that one word, my brother, it encompassed exactly what I was trying to do. Remember, I spoke about my frustrations earlier.
My theory was that you named it Maysoor because you named it after maybe a child you have called Maysoor.
Look at that, subhanAllah. No, that's not the case, man. I named it Maysoor. It was kind of just like the qadr, you know, that I came across this word sounding good. and the meaning was also so good. So it's little Maysoor was born from Maysoor. All right, started from the green boards, and what happened was I was going through the Medina book series, just teaching it, right, similar to what I'm quite well known for today, and I just couldn't sustain it. It was a passion, but you have to understand at the same time, as you got a passion, but I've also got a wife. You know, I'm living off of the equivalent of I think the stipend that we were getting called Makafa was 840 reals at that time, which at the time, if I'm not mistaken, the exchange rate was about £140. It's not a lot of money, you know, when you think about rent. Whilst rent's significantly cheaper over there than it is here, it's still a lot to somebody that isn't making no money. I had to think about my studies. I had to think about, you know, my personal time and stuff like that. You got your studies in the Jamia, and then you've got, which is something that I would love to speak about perhaps in another podcast as well. You've got the pressure that some, maybe to no fault of their own, that some students would put on you, that you have to start attending durus outside, which in and of itself is a fantastic thing. Obviously, you know, we should be sitting with the scholars as students of knowledge anyway. But at the same time, we have to be honest and real with ourselves that if I've just come over to the country, right, and now I'm being quote unquote forced, I feel like I'm being like this, that peer pressure for me now to go and sit in lessons that I don't understand a word that's going on. What's going to happen to the majority of us? We're going to be like, the next time, making up, you know what, my wife wants to go out, you know, I can't make it. All right, next one, I'm not even feeling too well. And then you start to create a dislike for something which should be something that is an act of worship. So I think that the brothers, you know, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give all of them good. They were just being zealous and eager, and when inshallah ta'ala it was from wanting good for your brother, what you want for yourself. But sometimes in doing so, if it's not applied correctly, it can push people away. And I won't lie, I experienced that, you know, being frustrated, but just being at the lesson because I feel like this is what I should be doing, as opposed to me being there because I'm actually really benefiting. That came for me personally in my journey much later on, because it took me such a long time, akhi, to acquire the skills where I felt comfortable, you know, sitting in a lesson. I mean, we were in lessons anyway for 5 hours a day. Anything else, at the time, it just felt like overkill. But anyway, that's how Maysoor began.